I started watching WWF and WCW when I was 19. I was a junior in college with a majoring in English, but with minors in Japanese culture and women's studies. And at that time, during the Attitude Era, I had a very difficult time reconciling being a 19-year-old woman trying to understand why everybody in my social circle at the time loved wrestling. And there was a lot of compartmentalizing going on. And it continued until I left for Japan. And then while I was in Japan, I didn't follow wrestling. And I didn't follow it when I came back immediately, but started up around 2011, 12, casual, started watching NXT. And it's one of those things where it's not the elephant in the room. It's the thing that it's the locker room talk that nobody wants to talk about. And it's been a thing that has gone on for not just the last few years, probably longer than you and I have both been alive. And the hardest thing the entire time I've been a fan of wrestling and in other fandoms, I'm not gonna exclude anime, I'm not gonna exclude video games, I'm not gonna exclude Star Wars, comics, none of it. Anytime I have been a fan in a fan space, I have always had to stand up for myself and be told to sit down. I've been told to be quiet. I've been told that I'm wrong. And people have this tendency to invalidate the feelings of women in this sport and other sports. And it's gone on for far too long. We as a fandom and wrestling as an industry have nobody to blame but ourselves for the absolute sight that it is right now. Because for years, if not decades, women have been coming forward, trying to tell their stories, and people have chosen to silence them, have told them to shut up, told them that they were, in it for the wrong reasons. So it makes it so incredibly hard to sit here and read the court filing and to see the outrage on social media and wonder why people are surprised. Because we have been talking about it. Women in sports and women in fandom have been talking about it, but nobody wanted to listen. And when everything started last week, there were people out there saying they were calling out female creators and saying, so-and-so is being quiet. So-and-so is choosing not to say anything. So-and-so isn't doing this. It is not up to women when we are outnumbered 5-1, 10-1, 20-1 at shows, backstage, ringside, in the press conferences. It is not up to us as women to fix the problem by ourselves. That was the most infuriating thing, was that, it was the Royal Rumble last weekend. There were female content creators there. There were female journalists there, and people went in on them for no good reason. There was an unfair expectation that the women in that room had to be the ones to ask this question without any consideration to what their experience is as women in wrestling. Women with potential experiences with SA, with you name it. It's hard. It is so incredibly hard to sit there and see what people are saying. It's easy to say, oh, I would do this if I was there. I would do this, but you are not there. And I applaud people like Brandon Thurston. And I'm sorry if I don't get the other names right, but the other people who stood up in that press conference and said something. Because even now, it's hard for me to talk about it as a fan. And I don't like getting emotional in front of people, let alone on camera. But I'll go through it. I will unpack my feelings. Because we can't fix it by ourselves. If all the people out there that are saying that they are outraged and they're disgusted and they're fed up, help us fix it. Yes, it might mean your favorite has to pack their bags. Yes, it might mean that we could see a company topple in real time, depending on how this goes. But we need to feel safe. We've said it about, going to shows and like, what people like think about, women in wrestling, whether it's performers, stage crew, fans. We deal with this all the time. So if we don't come together and step up together, we can't expect anything to change. And it sucks. It sucks to, that to sit here and watch it happen and to see people turning it into an aha moment for tribalism, being like, oh, well, so-and-so promotion doesn't do this. That's not conducive to the conversation. That's not going to change anything. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just, I'm angry. I'm so tired of being angry and frustrated and sick to my stomach because this isn't the time to gang up about the wrong thing. We all need to be on the page about the same thing. And that's hoping that however deep this goes, what truths are about this story, whether the allegations are correct or not. It's been hard to see that people are picking, and I hate to say it, people are picking the wrong sides and the wrong battles at this point in time. I'm thankful that people who cover wrestling, and specifically WWE, as fellow content creators, have checked in on me because they've seen me be quiet, but they know it's because this is something hard to talk about as a female creator in the wrestling space. And I've gone back and forth about it this past week, whether or not I should open up my Twitter and put out a thread about all my feelings. But seeing the way that women who are trying to speak their mind, trying to help educate people about why this is so infuriating, and then seeing people who want to protect their podcast favorite coming after them for no good reason whatsoever. It's unacceptable. I can't stand seeing people defending people who could potentially make these things actually be real. This is the time where you shouldn't be attacking female creators in the wrestling space. This isn't the time where you should be attacking, women who are coming forward and speaking out about these issues. This is the time where, I'm sorry, if you're a man, you sit down, shut up, and listen. You elevate the voices that are trying to be like, we have, I hate saying that we've told you so, but we've told you so. And people are choosing to compartmentalize and pick and choose who gets punished based on who's their favorite. And I'm sorry, this is too big. This is too big. And if you're picking the wrong side in this battle, if you're not listening, if you're victim blaming, you can pack your bags and get out of my mentions. I am done. I am so completely done. And I'm thankful for places like Post and Grapple and other outlets that have taken the time and made the effort to not only cover this topic, but to do it in a way that prepares their audience and any other person who could possibly come across the content and find it triggering and find it upsetting. Because there are people that have been screenshotting it and sensationalizing it and doing what they can to get those click-throughs. And that's disgusting. And this is a time where it's like, I can't say it's hard being a wrestling fan right now. I am disgusted as a wrestling fan right now. That's my.
Thank you.
That's all. I'm done. If I go any further, I'm gonna start swearing.
Okay.
I just.
Oh no! Thank you for sure. No, don't be sorry. Of course not. Like this is. I think this is important for anyone who listens to this. That hey, this is what women in our fandom, women in this industry go through. If you're not aware of this, as as a male fan, like it's been out there for years. For decades. Like you just have to go to any message boards in the last 25 fucking years, and then you see all this trivialization of like the way wrestlers have treated women. You know, the use of the word rat is disgusting. You know, like the things like that, because you dehumanize women in this in the industry. And it is an industry wide problem, and the fact that the subject of what we're talking about is arguably, well, maybe not arguably, the top tier head of professional wrestling, and he's going to get possibly toppled down. Well, I hope that's a symbol of like this. This is a trickle down effect, and every enabler in his sphere and outside his sphere, that is a wake up call to like AW to TNA wrestling to New Japan Pro Wrestling to CMML, that hey, this happened to the most powerful person. This is the most powerful person in wrestling who's allegedly doing all this stuff, and if it's proven that it's true, and he gets punished to the full extent of the law, then I think I'm hoping it's a game changer. It's an industry wide sweeping of the board. I don't care if my favorite so and so booker, fucking performer gets canceled, never works in the industry again. Good. Get out. I don't never want to see you again. That's why, like, I'm glad fucking speaking out like took a lot of these bad actors out of here. I'm glad I never have to see any of them again. I never wanted to see any of them again. That's fine. Even if I enjoyed their previous work, I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't want to watch their previous work now. You know what I mean? So I know, but thank you, Karen. I really appreciate it. I appreciate you. I appreciate what, like, you know, Kate from Montreal said over on Collision. I appreciate the work of Stephanie Chase on her outlets.
Stephanie
you know,
Chase. And she and Kate and a couple of others like Alex Lajas. A lot of them have been doing their best, and a lot of them just wanted to go and enjoy the Rumble. And on Thursday night, it just came crashing down. And I can't speak as a member of the LGBTQIA community or as a person of color, but those are other communities where people need to, if they are talking about an issue, you need to listen to them. That's when it's our turn to sit down, zip our lips, and listen. Because I feel like that's the biggest problem, is that people want to talk and talk over, but there are too many problems that won't get fixed if we don't take turns listening to one another and believing when people say that things are a problem.